Chet Holmgren, you're getting traded, you fucking but nah, I would never start like that. Welcome to another episode of It's Debatable NBA edition. I'm your host, Justin Jones, here with co-host Seb. Seb, how does my audio sound? Is good?
No, you good. You good. Loud and clear.
Alright, so we are here. Feel like it came by so quickly. The regular season went by so quick, it's over. We had the playoffs, right? 3 rounds. That went by. We're here in the NBA Finals. Crazy, man. Seb, could you believe that we are here in the finals? How you feeling, man?
A little relieved because when we made our predictions in the beginning of the year and I had the Knicks going into the finals, you kind of go through your ups and downs throughout the season. So to see everything play out the way it is like a form of disbelief, but a form of just like, oh shit, you're like, we actually here. So it's an interesting film to see all our predictions we made, especially with you saying how the Spurs was going to be the biggest threat to OKC and seeing how that unfolded in Game 7. It's like the script was right in front of us, though. We just didn't believe it. So it's crazy, man. Two teams left. Then it's like what, another 5 months of no basketball. So that's kind of crazy how quickly the season flew by from just everything that happened. But damn it, we here now, brother. We here now, and it's a better feeling when the Knicks are playing basketball in fucking June, which is kind of crazy to say. Nobody was gonna say this like what 2 or 3 years ago. Knicks playing the finals in June. Hard to believe. The only person that said it was Braun.
Right, right.
Knicks fans good. They're going to the
We
finals next year. Shout out, Braun.
we have a finals rematch from 1999. All right, at that time I was 1 years old. We got the Knicks going up against the San Antonio Spurs. Right, it's crazy how history can kind of seem like it repeats itself, right? We remember back when the Spurs had David Robinson, and then he went down with the injury. They had that bad season. They ended up getting that lottery pick. You draft Tim Duncan, right, and then you're right back into playoff contention. And that's sort of what happened with this San Antonio Spurs team, right? They had Wemby last year, got injured with the whole blood clot thing, right? They end up missing the playoffs in the lottery. You drafted Dylan Harper, and now I don't even know the stat, but a team that comes now from the lottery to the NBA Finals, right, just the next season is not things that we usually ever see, right? There's that jump is crazy. So, shout out to the Spurs, right, for handling their business, right? We could talk a little bit about OKC and the Spurs in that Game 7. Um, I guess I would just say when it comes to OKC, of course, we all know they didn't have Jalen Williams and AJ Mitchell. I'm not really going to use that as why they lost because I feel like they still could have won that game without them because they are a deep team. I just feel like this defense that they went up against was on the level of their defense or even better, right? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, whether he had 30 or he didn't have 30 throughout the series. This was just the toughest, or should we say the best defensive scheme we've seen on him since he's become the MVP, right? We haven't really seen a coach and a team game plan against Shea like how his name is Mitch Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Mitch Johnson just did against him. It was great, right? They doubled him, try to make him more into a playmaker, right? I don't want to say shout out to the refs, but I think they did a good job not playing into the narrative of this whole Shea getting all the foul baiting calls and this, that, and the third. If Shea did get to the line, he deserved it, and he was gonna just have to find other ways to be effective. In that Game 7, I feel like he did his job. It was just no one really stepped up into that Robin role, right? Shay played Batman, but who was going to be that Robin? Of course, you had Jared McCain and Alex Caruso and Jalen Williams definitely do their thing. I believe they all had about 10 apiece that game, but that really wasn't going to be enough. And this is why I kind of hinted at this when we just started the show. Where was Chet? 2 field goal attempts, right? So there's a difference between taking 2 field goal attempts and going 1 for 2, and then going, let's say, 2 for 22, right? One shows that you're being aggressive, right? And the other shows that you're being passive, right? You're being timid. The defense is getting to you, so now you're becoming a pass first player when that's not why we drafted you, right? We need you for defense and also to be that scoring threat. Chet was not able to do that. I'm gonna give all the credit in the world to Victor Wembanyama. You know, right, when you have a certain matchup on you that you know you can't do just the usual things that come easy to you, right? Even us playing at the park, right? We know if we have a good defensive player on us, maybe some of the things that are easier for us, we're just not able to do with the same regularity, right? So I feel like that's what happened to Chet. He's seen Wimby on him, and he just didn't want that smoke. The problem is that Chet's not going anywhere, and Wimby's not going anywhere, right? I know you said it before, people in media outlets. This is a matchup that Chet's gonna have to go through if he wants to be a champion again, in my estimation. If Chet wants to raise that Larry O'Brien trophy again and become a 2-time champion, 3-time champion, whatever his goals and aspirations are, he's going to have to get through Victor Wembanyama. Because I don't see this team, whether the Spurs lose the finals or not. I see them at least going back to the Western Conference Finals over like the next 5 years. All right, this is the team you're gonna have to go through. So, Chet, you're still young. You gotta go into the off season and figure out what you just have to do to be better. There's a couple bigs that just have to go through it. We spoke about DeAndre Ayton. We spoke about Jalen Duran. We're speaking about Chet now. We've spoken about Evan Mobley. These were bigs that each one I just named was a lottery pick, right? And on their respective teams, they were asked to do things and they just, in the biggest moments, all failed. So I don't know if all the big man is about to get together in Cancun and talk about a workout plan, but a lot of y'all are going to have to work on y'all games because we're seeing that a prominent big is necessary. Look at the two teams in the finals. You got the Knicks, Carl Anthony Towns. Until they started playing through him, the Knicks was down 2-1. We've seen the importance of him. And then it's already self explanatory with Victor Wembanyama. So are we kind of seeing the importance of the big man come back slowly but surely? I think so. But OKC is still going to be a team to be reckoned with. If I'm them, I am making some calls about Giannis Antetokounmpo, but that's another story for another day. Um, but yeah, shout out to them. They'll definitely be back in. Once again, shout out to the San Antonio Spurs.
Great breakdown of just this whole series. And to piggyback off of what you said, Chet Holmgren, I'll start by saying this. I am not trading Chet Holmgren. If I'm OKC, I'm not trading Chet Holmgren. I'll
For
make it.
Giannis?
No, I'm not trading for Giannis. Giannis
Oh,
is
you're
broke.
drunk. Yeah,
Giannis
no.
played 36 games last season. Giannis hasn't made it out the first round in like 4 or 5 years. Don't give me none of that. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trading my young player for
If
somebody
all
that.
right, so I'm gonna let you go, but if Giannis plays in that game 7, it's OKC in the finals.
No, it's not guaranteed. You know why? Because Victor Wembanyama is such a difference maker, and I'm gonna give Wemby his credit this whole series. One, he just wants the game a little bit more than anybody on that OKC side. That's one that I say too. Two, they played a stellar defense to where once again I'll give Mitch Johnson credit just the way they was very aggressive on Shea, making the other guys beat you with the fact that there's no Jalen Williams and no AJ Mitchell. Who's the other guys that's going to step up? And in this case scenario, it was Casey and Wallace and what he was able to do for the Oklahoma City Thunder, giving them at least somewhat of a fighter's chance. That's another thing. San Antonio just that whole series wanted it. They was more agile. They moved up and down the court a little bit more. Their defensive scheme towards Shea and just being able to rotate and being able to stop them from getting as much timely possessions that they needed was outstanding, superb. Shout out to the San Antonio Spurs for that. To your point again, Chet just did not rise to the moment to where he's only having 2 field goals in this thing. He lost his confidence in this series, and Victor Wembanyama took his confidence in this series. But this is a learning experience. But once again, let me speak on Chet. Chet Holmgren is a guy that since he's got there, they've been #1 in the West. They had what 60 wins in the season. They were already NBA champions. I already have that in somebody that's not even 25. I'm not willing to give that away. This is a thing where you could learn and live in the moment type of scenario where it just could either make you or break you as a player. And I think that somebody that's already accomplished this a little much, being an NBA champion and being a major part in that, can learn from just what transpired. I can learn how to be more physical and getting my own shots. I can learn how to be aggressive at the basket. I can learn how to stop being a bitch. And yeah, I'm gonna say he was a bitch this series. And this takes away nothing from everything else. Because before walking into the series, he was doing his thing. He just ran into a motherfucker that just didn't like him. And when you downplay something and then you try to say, nah, it's not really you. Motherfucker, you seen the way that he was dunking on you? You seen the way he was blocking his shots? This is a build moment. And I think every player of a certain caliber has to go through a type of experience in order to really expand their game, grow their game. If I could use like LeBron, for example, when he lost to fucking Dallas, that motherfucker came back, lights out jump shooter in the mid range, lights out get into the basket. Like, certain losses build your character. And in this case scenario, Chet has to learn from this, has to become a better player against the Spurs. Because anybody else, he would have done his thing. Just Wemby just took his fucking pride. He didn't play with no pride. And another thing for the Oklahoma City Thunder is Shai Gilgeous is going to learn from this too. I feel like the nonchalantness was, how do I put it? Like, I just feel like there was no real urgency. Like, there was no real passion from this team. Like, every time I'm watching the Spurs, there's passion. Every time they get a stop, Devin Vassell is losing his mind. He's in Chet's face. Chet is just talking like, chill, bro. Or Stephon Castle, anytime he gets a stop, he's bugging out. You know what I'm saying? You want to see that type of passion for the game. And I think that's where they lost the series. Passion, hard work, tenacity. They wanted it more. And you see it in those last 2 games. In game 6, they literally shut down the whole Oklahoma City offense and had them to not score within a 7-point margin. Imagine hearing Oklahoma City did not score in 7 minutes of a basketball game in the playoffs. You wouldn't believe it. They wanted it more. Down at the end of that game 7, Luke Cornett, who barely got any run, had a major chase down block on Isaiah Hartenstein. It's the little things that they're not going to say that the San Antonio Spurs did a little bit more. But once again, shout out to the Spurs. Tough series. Not saying that anybody got blown out or whatever, but that game 7 was a very winnable game for OKC. If Chet was a little more engaged, I say even I don't like you said to your point, if you went 2 for 22, it's like, oh, you had a bad night. But only taking 2 shots shows that you were scared of the moment.
No shots taken within the second half.
You were scared of the moment. You're scared of Wemby. What are you gonna do about it? This series falls on Chet Holmgren and Chet Holmgren only. I don't care that J-Dub didn't play. I don't care if AJ Mitchell didn't play. There's a certain level of assertiveness that you have to have now when you're a number 2 option to where my team needs me more than ever. And this is on Shai to really get into Chet's head and said, I need you out there to be aggressive. This is what comes with being a leader. I know everybody wants to say, oh, Shai's going to do his thing. Shai didn't have it going. He had a terrible series. From averaging 30 to dropping to 24 a game. If people are not going to say he had a terrible series. And that's a credit to the San Antonio defense. They didn't give him nothing easy. Wemby was hulking every time that he tried to get in the range. Yeah, he had a couple of shots that looked tough. But for the most part, though, the whistle wasn't called in his favor. And then we seen Shai really digress to this, a good player, not a great player. Wemby was a great player this series. But like I said, this series falls on Chet. Young man, the most you can do is take this series, use it as motivation to where I could get better in my game, whether it's working on my post moves, whether it's just adding maybe 20 pounds of muscle to get a little more physical. But you will run into this team down the line again. That is a damn near guarantee. The West right now is going to go through San Antonio or Oklahoma City right now, and that's the way he's looking for the next couple of years. So you're going to see your rival because Everybody calls it a rivalry. And if you're just gonna keep being in denial, the same thing's gonna happen. You're gonna keep running into that traffic, and Wemby's just gonna dominate you every chance he got. That young man literally sat there and cried as soon as the buzzer hits the zero, and he found out he's going to the finals. It means a little something more to him. So in this in this off season, you gotta find that passion, man. You gotta build that hatred. If I'm Chet Holmgren, I'm building a hatred. Yo, this motherfucker embarrassed me on the grandest stage of all and Oklahoma City in the game 7. And I only had 2 points on 4. What? No. Certain shit you can't let slide. And you're gonna have to dig deep. You're gonna have to come back a 10 times better player of yourself and see where Chet Holmgren could be more effective. Because right now, the future is still bright for Oklahoma City Thunder. You're still a number one seed. You still won 60 games. You've still been the first seed ever since that you've played. So that's not gonna change. But what's got to change is the mentality when I'm running into that 7'5" motherfucker that just literally embarrassed me in the grandest stage of them all on national TV. Now I got people talking about trade me. I got this, that, and the third. Chet Holmgren, this is on you this series. This postseason, this offseason, you got to come back a 10 times better player of yourself. And it starts right now. Don't wait until after the finals or anything like that. Don't wait till vacation. It starts right now, brother. Starts right now. I ain't rooting against you, man. I still see your impact on the defensive side and everything like that. You just got to realize who you running into now, who is here, who has arrived. Victor Wembanyama has arrived. And every time he sees you, he just want to beat you up. Yo, he just want to embarrass you, man. You can't take that line down, man. You can't, man. You might have to snuff that nigga, something like that, man. Let him know that I ain't a little boy, man. You gotta impose your will, something. Yeah, but once again, shout out to the San Antonio Spurs. They are moving on to the NBA Finals to play the New York Knicks. Wemby was Western Conference MVP. Everybody played stellar. I'd say it was really a team effort. Shout out to just even off the bench. You got guys like Carter Bryant who came in and played very tough defense on Shea. Who else I'm looking at for this series? Devin Vassell, I think, was a major X factor in this series, whether it was hitting shots or just being in defensive lanes or just getting a couple blocks. I feel like he was a main reason why that this defense looked explosive as it did.
Yeah, great series overall. OKC, with the people with the bodies that they had, they threw their best punch. The Spurs threw their best punch. I just think Wemby did want it a little bit more, and I think a moment that showed he wanted it probably the most was when he sent that hit out on Jared McCain. Right, we usually don't see players just tell those bench guys who barely get any minutes, when you get in this game, just go fuck them up. Just go knock that TikToker on the ground. I think that was crazy to see. That's why you do have those vets on the team that you just gotta send the message that we're not going anywhere. So shout out to Wimby, shout out to the Spurs, shout out to Miss Johnson. Just that whole organization, Pop still being around, giving his wisdom to Wimby and Mitch Johnson behind the scenes. It's a great organization. A plus. Wonderful to see. So now the finals. Um, I'm not gonna lie, this was tough for me to have a prediction. I'm really are anticipating game one, but I feel like that's a cheat to make a prediction after that. Um, Overall, I'm going to take the Spurs in 7 games. Now, I think the Knicks can definitely win this series, right? I came on this podcast and said, out of the two teams, the Thunder and the Spurs, I think the Knicks would want to play San Antonio. I think they will have a better shot than OKC. So now that matchup has arrived. It's just two things I really need to see. And it's really how is the two best players on the Knicks now going to play when they have right on the other side multiple players that they can throw at them on the defensive end, right? So even with Jalen Brunson, right, you have now on the other side of Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle. Um, a Carter Bryant, right? I feel like I'm missing somebody. A Devin Vassell. Just multiple bodies that you can throw at Brunson that's going to make it very hard for him. Right? This isn't gonna be James Harden guarding you. Right? You're really gonna have to work. So I'm interested to see that. And then Carl Anthony Towns. Carl Anthony Towns, you can argue, has been the most valuable player for this Knicks team throughout this playoff run in this 11 game win streak. But once again, Atlanta first round, he went up against no real center at all. Second round, you go up against Embiid, who can't move from left to right. You could literally just blow right by it. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, who I think have no heart. This is now going to be now for Cat Wembenyama, who isn't playing around. And Cat, I think just based off his history, is going to be in some foul trouble. How's he going to react to that? But Cat's not just going to be able just drive to the basket and get easy looks. It's just not going to happen like that. And then even when Wimby's not on the floor, a Luke Cornett, another 7 footer, a big body now that you can throw at Cat, who's also going to give some problems. You even have some guys I would just throw in the game to just annoy Cat with a Bismack Biombo and a Mason Plumlee. You just give them 2 to 3 minutes out there and just go fuck him up. Just do it. Like they have the bodies to do it. So I feel like this series is really gonna come down to the others for the Knicks. Talking about the Josh Harts, is he going to be able to knock down that shot? Just at least gonna have to be a game to where he's knocking down that 3 point shot because you know what a lot of teams do at first, and they kind of just let him shoot. Is he going to knock down those shots? We're gonna have to see. Mikal Bridges, right, was called out in that Atlanta series right throughout those first 3 games. Since then, has found his touch again. He's been good. Is he going to be able to now carry that in to the NBA Finals? You got the Jordan Clarksons of the world, the Alvarados, the OG Ananobis. Are they going to be able to knock down shots? And I think it's going to be vital because I think their two stars are going to have their own problems that they're going to have to face. So that's just what I'm interested to see. And I feel like it's more pressure on the Knicks. The Spurs is playing with house money, right? The Spurs lose this finals, they can come back literally next year and make the same run. The Knicks, I said this. This is the year they have to win the championship. Cause I firmly believe next season there's 4 teams that are going to be better that the Knicks are going to have to go through, and that's gonna be Detroit, who's gonna upgrade offensively. Boston, who's going to retool and be back. Indiana, who now has Zubac and is going to have a healthy Tyrese Halliburton. And I'm forgetting a team right now. But oh well, you already know about the Philadelphias, who we'll see what they do. The Orlando's who have a young team. Atlanta, let's see how they continue to build. I feel like last time we was on the show, somebody said Washington, and we can see what happens with Anthony Davis and Trey Young. The East is not going to get worse; it's going to get better. So this is the opportunity right now for the Knicks to do it. There's going to be a lot riding on this series. Once again, I think game one is going to tell me damn near the script of this series. Of course, adjustments will happen throughout it, but I'm very, very interested to see, especially the Knicks coming after all these days off. How are they going to function? Right, we seen them on that long layoff in the Eastern Conference Finals game one, right, and they was down 20 plus points. If Donovan Mitchell and James Harden had any brain cells left, they would have won that game. The Spurs aren't gonna make that mistake. If the Spurs are going up 20 on the Knicks, they're not just losing that lead. Wembanyama's not letting that happen. It's gonna be tough. I think this definitely goes to a game 7 in San Antonio, but I have the Spurs winning. I, I would like for the Knicks to pull it off. I think it would be a great story, right? This kind of reminds me of LeBron in '07 going up against San Antonio, ironically enough. Here's the difference. Wemby has a squad. LeBron '07, he was carrying me and you to the final. This is going to be very, very interesting. Also, I want to see the officiating, but I'm going to take the Spurs in seven.
Respectfully so. Um, the Spurs are a tough team when you have Victor Wembanyama. Um, I have no disagreements here on just well, I'm a ride with the squad that I've been watching play playoff basketball, damn near watch every game possible. So when I say this is the toughest challenge that they ever gonna see thus far in the Jalen Brunson era, I damn near mean it because this is not an easy ask to ask for a young team that is very agile on defense, got the best defense in the playoffs, got deep one of the best players in the NBA right now, Victor Wembanyama. It's a tough act right now. They flowing right now. They just knocked off the reigning defending champions in the 7-game series. So right now they are feeling as if this is their time for the taking. And Wemby feels like if there's no better time, then it's now for him to cement his legacy in the NBA at a very young age. But fuck all that. With that being saying, I still got the Knicks winning this series because I'm just confident in just one player, in Jalen Brunson, that no matter what's in front of him, I do feel as if Brunson game is going to elevate. They literally said Jalen Brunson is made for basketball because no matter what situation you put him in, his game will rise to the level that is needed to. And right now, on the grandest stage of them all in the NBA Finals, with the NBA trophy on the court logo right now, I think Jalen Brunson will just show why he's one of the top players in the NBA. And I think right in this series right now, no matter who you throw at him, Jalen Brunson will find a way to adjust. Jalen Brunson will find a way to get his, and the team will follow along. I feel like this teams match up perfectly well. I think when we think about defenders, how you say like the Vassels of the world, the Keldon Johnsons of the world, the Stephon Castles, the Dylan Harper. I do believe that the Knicks have defenders themselves too, as well, with the OG Ananobi's, who's second team all defense, with the Mikal Bridges, who has been playing stellar defense on a bunch of star players in this post series, lowering their averages down. Mitchell Robinson, for whatever he can give us too. I know he got that broken pinky, but I still think he's not required to do too much. Defensively, he's been a menace to as well, and even the guys like Josh Hart, who can play defense on the third best player, on perimeter player, second best perimeter player at times. We have the bodies for them too. I feel like the Spurs run deep and the Knicks run deep too as well. I'm just banking on just how well can we play offensively. If we could keep that same offensive momentum to where it can translate over into a couple of stops. And now we get our 3-point barrage going. It's going to be a tough ask. And who I'm looking at this series is Jalen Brunson. I know Carl Anthony Towns is tough. Don't get me wrong. I like what he's been doing. I like what he's been doing, especially. But my thing is this: how can we stop a Wemby? And I think a lot of times since watching the Cup and watching the last time we played them at Madison Square Garden, I'm not saying we have the answers, like we have the recipes for success though. But I do feel confident in the players that we have, that we could throw at him, that we could deny him the ball in the post, that we could get a little physical with and make him take a bunch of tough shots. I feel as if Wemby's still going to get his, but it's the matter of how efficiently is it going to be? Is it going to cost us, guys? Because at the end of the day, we don't necessarily have to throw Karl Anthony Towns at him. If we can push him out into the top of the key, we have our key perimeter guys in Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby to make him put the ball on the floor and then send blitz at him and make him more into a passer. We could go that route. Or we could go into the route of, Mitchell Robinson playing denied ball and playing, honest basketball without fouling him. We could double up on the post and just really make the other guys work. So it's a tough act, and I really want to see game one is going to tell how well are we prepared. I do feel we win game one due to the fact that I just feel like the momentum we're on. Game one is really our sign to really just handle business on the road too, and I do think the Knicks played very good on the road. I don't know how to describe it though, but I think just the fact that everybody's against them and they come into arenas, Jalen Brunson is good. Jalen Brunson said himself he loves playing on the road. Like he likes to silence the crowd and whatnot. And I think in this case scenario, Jalen Brunson has to be special game one for the Knicks to steal game one. And I think if you steal game one, you win the series. You might win the series in six. Because sometimes, game one, especially as a road team, gives you that confidence boost that we could do this. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we went in there, we handled business. Now we have home court advantage again. So shit, it's gonna be a tough ask, man. But I feel confident in what Mike Brown has established with this team. This is a chance for him to right his wrong against the San Antonio Spurs. The last time he was in the finals, this is a chance for Mikal Bridges, who's somebody that was in the finals like maybe 4 years ago, who was up 2 on the team, almost smelled that championship to get that ring. This is a chance for Jalen Brunson to silence all the naysayers that's saying he's too small to do this. And yes, I'm talking to Draymond Green, doubling down, saying that Jalen Brunson is too small. Meanwhile, you could never do what he did at your height. So I'm pointing that out there. And this is a chance for Jalen Brunson to cement his legacy. So I'm all in for the Knicks right now. I love the way they've been playing. I love the way San Antonio's been playing. This is going to be one of the series for the Bucks, and I think just the fact that just the two type of caliber players they saying David and Goliath, that this is going to be one of the most watched series, the most watched finals, and damn near since what Golden State versus Cleveland when they won 7 games. I think that this series is going to be a legacy series, one for the books, one for the histories in the making. Where were you when the New York Knicks won the championship against Wemby, or where were you when the San Antonio Spurs beat the Knicks in a game 7? Because I do think it's either 6 or 7. I think both teams are that talented. I think the offensive juggernaut that the New York Knicks have, and then there's the defensive prowess that the San Antonio Spurs have, that one is going to negate the other. And I think more than enough, I think the Knicks do have their defensive presence in times where they're getting stops and they're turning their defense into offense more than not. So it's going to be interesting. Just nervous, yes. Confident in Jalen Brunson, yes. Excited to get game one going tomorrow, hell fucking yes. Because shit, the way the city is going to jump if we still win game one, you know how it is already. You watch the videos. You see everybody standing on top of subway logos and shit like that. Oh man.
Well, I just want to say, I don't think this series is just going to fall on Jalen Brunson. You're going to need help. The finals, you already know the finals is, can an unsung hero make an impact and help you win these games. You can go back to when the Lakers and Celtics was battling, right? When they faced each other in back to back finals, Kobe versus Paul Pierce. You needed the Ron Artest to make big plays. The Andrew Bynums, the Pau Gasols on Boston's end, the Kevin Garnett, the Rajon Rondo. It wasn't just Paul Pierce averaging 40 against Kobe 40. You're going to need help because they're going to throw the best defensive game plans at the star players. So I'm really looking at the others. You brought up Mitchell Robinson. We can't now downplay what he's going to mean to this series. The Knicks need a Mitchell Robinson, not so much for guarding defensively, but offensive rebounding. How many times have you watched the Knicks give 4 or 5 possessions to try to get a shot off? And that stops the other team from getting out in transition or trying to build on their lead. So Mitchell Robinson is going to be as important as anybody in this series for New York. The pinky thing is a very interesting injury to have because you know you need 2 hands to rebound the ball. Right? You already know it's gonna be physical. You already know when he's out there, people's gonna be swiping at his hand. God forbid now he goes to the free throw line. But I don't, I don't even know if he's gonna hit the rim. You talking about him and a broken finger at the free throw line? Do we see a Hacker Robinson? That's another something we're going to have to watch out for. This is going, in my opinion, 2 goals, 7 games, but you're not slick. I need you to make a prediction. You can't just yell out numbers 6, 7, and what is your prediction and what do you got? Like
That's the Knicks in 6.
Nixon 6. All right. I just want everyone to stand on what we're standing on. Right. So, are we making bets?
For the series or in the series that's one?
The
Or
series.
like
I would say this. Tell me how you feel about this bet. If the Knicks win, right? because the series should be over before a Fanatics Fest. I'll come to Fanatics Fest, drip down in the Jalen Brunson gear. You feel me? Bleeding that orange and blue, and I will come in the Knicks gear. But if the Spurs win, you got to be dripped down in the Victor Wembanyama gear.
Fuck. I'm putting a loss to bet on my
Nah, no loss to bet, man. You got to stay on that. I don't want to bet no money because you already owe me thousands of dollars.
you owe me money.
You want to talk about the LA night bet? Because I haven't seen no cash out yet.
Chill.
Oh,
We'll get
okay,
to LA
okay.
Knight in a second though, cause I'm ready to double down on the LA Knight bet, nigga.
Here we go. Here we go. That's
But
that's
all right,
that's
fuck
the
it.
story
Yeah,
now.
I could do that. All right, deal.
All right, so you hear it here. You feel me? Whichever team wins. But once again, I just want to see great basketball. I don't really have a horse in this race. Everyone knows I'm a LeBron guy, so I could really care less who particularly becomes the next champion. I'm just happy to see we'll have a new champion. We're seeing how tough this league is now to where you can't go back to back. So just real quick, and I want people to understand this, not degrading Michael Jordan or his finals runs, right? But this just shows how good you have to be to go to consecutive finals, let alone to win back to back three in a row. Cause well, we haven't seen a back to back one since what it was 2018, right?
Golden State, yeah.
We just haven't seen the same champion since, and that's because of how talented multiple teams are. You
It is.
can't even definitively say which team is running the league. We just thought it was OKC, and then you just had the Spurs say, "Fuck that." You feel me? I feel next year we're gonna have a probably a whole new NBA final. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Um, it's gonna be a chess match. There's a lot to be talked about. And it's gonna be great basketball to see. Um, do you have anything else you just have to say?
Draymond Green, stop hating, man. Stop hating, nigga. Stephen A. Smith, whatever happens, do not fold. Do not fold, brother. I know you like to just say every time the Knicks lose, oh, the Knicks are not winning. Don't fold, brother. Um, Gilbert Arenas, I don't know why you gave your rights up to your podcast for Underdog.
Also, that's an interesting thing. I wanted to ask you just a question. Shout out to Gilbert Arenas. Um, so his contract ended, right? And I don't know the full in depth situation. I'm not Gilbert Arenas, so no one be like, "That's not what happened." Saying from what I heard, contract ends. He's not on the show anymore, right? But the rest of the crew is. He's now gonna start his own thing. Is the Kenyon Martins of the world, the Nick Youngs, the Rashad McCanns, the Brennan Jennings, are they moving funny by staying on the show, or do you feel this is all business?
Um,
I just wanted to hear your perspective.
Two things could be true. Two things could be true. I do feel as if, Gilbert Arenas did put them in positions, acquiring slowly one by one, for them to really be in position to where this thing really took off. I do think that Gilbert Arenas was doing his thing with the Arenas area, but at the same time, is I think those characters, the Rashad McCanns, the Brandon Jennings, the Kenyon Martins, the Swag P, they did play a huge role in it. The only difference is that their name wasn't on the pod, so I wouldn't say they're moving funny. I think more so is if it's on the business side, you got to really speak to him. He's like, yo, I don't mean no disrespect, like what you got going on. Like, I'm in a position now to where I could make bread to feed my family. Like, but at the same time, is loyalty is a motherfucker too. So, at this in a sense, it's just I wouldn't mind doing this show. Like, if it's possible, they could find a way to do this show and still do the arena show. You got to make it work. You gotta support your mans. And I do think that Gilbert Arenas did put them niggas in a position now to where this is one of the hottest shows that's going on. And still is too, with the addition of Skip Bayless. I do feel like, they do have interesting takes. They really don't cut each other off anymore. It's not more hostile. It's not what it used to be. I'll keep it like that. But at the same time, is you still gotta support your mans though. So I don't know if it's a question of if they're moving funny or if it's the business aspect. But in reality, though, I feel like once their contract is done, then there's no arena because that whole thing is built off of Gil. So I guess if they wait in until the contract is done, and so they could join Gil. But either way, Gil's gonna have his shit popping though, because you could take away the name out of the podcast, but you can't take away the main person out of it. So people are gonna gravitate to wherever Gilbert Arenas goes because that was his whole shit. I literally watched it at a point in time. It was just Gil and Josiah doing their thing for before there was even Kenyon, before there was even a Rashad McCann. At a point in time, I didn't even know who Rashad McCann was. Like, no disrespect though, but the more
No,
that I
that's a fact. I had. It's funny. Like I did not know who Rashad McCants was.
yeah, keep it a buck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had a short NBA career, but watching back and watching what he says, it's just like, yo, he was nice when he was in North Carolina. Like, you know what I'm saying? His NBA career didn't pan out, but he can talk ball. Like, some of his takes you might find outlandish, though, but it gets the people going, it gets the people engaged. Brandon Jennings, the type of personality that he came in a little later, too. I'm just like, yo, I didn't know Brandon Jennings had this much to say about shit because in the NBA, he was relatively a quiet nigga. Nick Young is Nick Young, though. He's nonchalant, funny, doesn't really give a fuck, but gives his take here and there. But that shows identity. You could take everything out of it. Underdog could come through and try to change the name, but you can't change the classics that they made. And I think that's what's missing nowadays in this show. Without Gil's controversy, without him amping up everything that's going on, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's Rashad McCann and beef with Raymond Felton or his former UNC crew, whether it's Patrick Beverly, and he used to just promote shit. He promoted it. He said, yo, you could come on the show. We could talk about it. You could do whatever the fuck y'all want to do. Man, I just feel like now Underdog is playing it safe with that show to where now Skip Bayless is now the mediator. That's what they call it. And now it's just like he's the sense of reasoning. He's the sense of like we're not back and forth in debating. We're not going as crazy as we should. It's going to lose its touch. It's going to be a good show still because at the end of the day, you still got the original crew. But without Gil, that's the identity. That's the nucleus. Once you take the nucleus out, now you don't really have a new
All
identity.
right, you're being too political. I didn't even ask you about all that. So now I'm gonna give you another scenario. So let's say, right, I had the show, and then you came on, Jock came on, John Ream, right? Now my contract is up. That's our sponsor. My contract is up. I'm now doing. I say, you know what? I'm gonna do my own show. Are you staying on that show, or are we about to build our own show?
No, we gotta restart. So if I came into the game with you, just man's wise, you know what I'm saying? And plus, them niggas got families to feed. Yeah, them niggas got like 3 or 4 baby mamas.
No,
So they,
I understand all the families to feed, but when you make that point, they'll make money off the new show. Now you're gonna have to find another sponsor because
yeah.
YouTube, you're only gonna make so much money just off YouTube. I get that 100%. But
But
a
once the
sponsor,
game
a
is
sponsor is gonna come
yeah.
and sponsor the new Guild show. Let's not act ridiculous.
No, we're not.
So,
I'm just saying certain niggas like if that was the case, then niggas would have been dipped. But I think in some case scenarios, some people say, yo, I think you need this.
no, I
But in
understand,
my
but I don't know how much they get in either. It could be a healthy check. Like I don't know.
healthy. I figured
I don't
healthy.
know.
Once you have an underdog spot, I figured it's healthy though. But in my case scenario, I started this shit with you. So obviously we're gonna go. I feel like the name goes more than the brand. Like, Gilbert Arenas is Gilbert Arenas. No, I didn't really know what the fuck Underdog was. I knew Underdog was a betting app. I knew you could bet off that, and people still don't barely bet off Underdog. So if DraftKings give me a fucking sponsorship, say if any you could get a sponsorship from anywhere, you could get a fucking sponsorship from Kalshi. Say that. So you know what I'm saying? You just gotta go where your people where it started off at, because at the end of the day, once a sponsorship comes to the program and now they trying to take over and they try to tell you what's best for business, because now you see how they trying to implement football now. They doing all this stuff. Mm-mm, Once you give up your rights to your show, it ain't Gil's Arena anymore. It's the arena now. And you could try to fake it. You could try to make it as authentic as it seems, though. But you can't copy what was originated with the originator of the show. He knows it. Josiah knows it. Everybody that's new knows it. Can't do that.
All right, all right. No, I was definitely glad you brought up that situation. I thought about that when I was watching, Gil talk about it the other day, and I definitely wanted to ask you. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of It's Debatable NBA Edition. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms at It's Debatable double underscore. Once again, that's It's Debatable double underscore. Follow me at Justin Jones on Facebook for details and developments on the platform. Jersey.
Jersey.